All right, you are about to take a quiz on this. So, supplementary angles add up to what? Add up to 180. Okay, guys, need you listening, please. Remember, supplementary, the S turns into an 8 to remind you of 180. Complementary adds up to what? 90. Remember, the C of complementary turns into a 9. Vertical angles are always what? Congruent. Okay. Same or equal. Yes, it's where there's a perfect X. It's the angles across from each other. Okay, so number 4, this is an example of which one of those there? It's complementary, so they add up to 90, right? So on this one, the 2x plus 5 plus 7x plus 4 equals 90 degrees. Combine like terms, 9x, 5 and 4 together make 9 equal 90. Minus 9. 9x equals 81, divided by 9. And x equals 9. Okay. All right, number 5. This is an example of which one of these?
Vertical angles.
Vertical angles. And so what do I know about those?
They are this.
They're always congruent. So we're going to set 12x plus 14 equal to 8x plus 54. Okay, so I'm going to get my x's together, subtract 8x from both sides. This zeroes out. This leaves 4x plus 14 equal to 54. Minus 14 on both sides. This zeroes out. 4x equals 40.
Which is x equals 10.
Divide both sides by 4. And x equals, yes. All right. Sorry, rushed away from there. Okay, on this one right here, this is an example of which one of these up here? Supplementary. So they are supplementary. What do we call those type? Okay, specifically we call these a linear pair. Okay, so I know you could do that very easily, but I'm just going to write it out like this. So 34 plus x in this situation equals 180, right? So if we want to solve for x, we're going to subtract 34 from both sides. The zeroes out, and x equals 146 degrees. Okay, and then on this one, same thing, x plus 125 here equals 180. So we're going to subtract 125 from both sides. The zeroes out, and x equals 55. Okay, now before we take a quiz, I want to look at this and talk about this for just a second, because this is what's messed people up pretty good for today. Okay, so we talked about this on Thursday specifically, and then we did a little bit on Friday. Okay, up here, is there an example of adjacent angles in what we have going on here? Okay, what does adjacent mean? Okay, good. They share a side in the vertex. So is there an example of adjacent angles up here?
Yes.
Like what?
1, 2,
Okay.
3.
Okay, all right. Yep. Hang on. All right, 1 and 2 are adjacent because they share this side right here, right? Okay, 2 and 3 are adjacent because they share this side. 3 and 4 are adjacent because they share this side. 4 and 5 are adjacent because they share this side. 5 and 1 are adjacent because they share that side.
But 1 and 4 wouldn't be adjacent?
No.
Okay.
They do not share a side. They only share a vertex. They have to share a vertex and a side. So that's all that has to be true to be adjacent. They have to share a side, basically, and a vertex. But if they're sharing a side, pretty much they're going to share a vertex. Okay, so that's what adjacent means. Next, vertical. Is there any example of vertical angles up here?
Yes.
Where?
1 and 4.
Okay, 1 and 4 are the only pair of vertical angles up here. Number 1, remember we talked about that with vertical angles, it's where a perfect X needs to happen. And so you can see that 1 and 4 happens inside of there. A lot of people would naturally want to say 5 and 3 are vertical angles, but they're not. Because if you think about 3 and 5, do those two make it an X right there? Makes a janky X. It would not be like that. And on top of that, what do you know about vertical angles? They're always congruent. Does angle 5 and angle 3 look congruent?
No.
Not at all. They're not even close. So in this case, 1 and 4 are the only pair of vertical angles in this figure. Okay? Now the third thing is linear pair. Are there any examples of linear pair up here?
Yes.
Okay, yes there are. So what do you think would be an example of linear pair? First of all, think about the word linear pair, the pair part. What does pair mean? 2. Pair means 2, okay? So it can only be 2. And then linear means it makes a straight line. Okay, good. Angle 5 and angle 4 are linear pair because that's only 2 angles. And you can see with that side of angle 5 and that side of angle 4 together, they make a straight line. Okay, good. Well, that's good that you said that because that is a very, very common mistake. 2 and 4 are not a linear pair because think about this. Okay, 2 and that part of 4 do make a straight line, but you're excluding angle 3. Angle 3 has to be included in that. Okay? So if it's, because remember, a linear pair also is supplementary, they add up to 180. So if you have 2, 3, and 4, it's no longer a linear pair, it's a linear triple. So that doesn't fit.
Is that an actual thing?
So 2 and 4, again, that is very, very common for people to say that. So but that's not it. Okay, what is the other linear pair? Good. It is 1 and 5. You can see how 1 and 5 is 2 angles together. They make a straight line. All right, is there any question on any of that stuff? No. All right, so you're going to take your quiz. So on this one right here, it's asking for the measurement of angle DBE. All right. So DBE is this angle right here. Now, the way this works is basically it's doing like this. It's starting at 0 degrees here and it's counting this direction. It doesn't have to count this direction. It could go the other way, but on this one, that's the way it's working. Is 0, 38, 107, 149. How many degrees would this be? It would be 180 degrees. But on the angle that we're looking at is right here. Now the angle we're looking at, DBE here, it starts at 107 degrees and ends at 149 degrees. So how am I going to find the distance from there to there? Yeah, just subtract them. So I'm going to go 149 minus 107. And so how many degrees does that make angle DBE? 42 degrees. All right, next one is asking about angle DBF. So DBF is right here. It starts at 38 and ends at 149. So I'm going to do the same thing. 149 minus 38. 111. All right, and then the last one there is asking about EBA. So EBA is this one. So it starts at 107, ends at 180. So 180 minus 107 is 73 degrees. Okay. So on this one, it's pretty much the same thing we've been doing, but okay, so it says that this whole angle is 45 degrees. And there's a typo here because there's z's here, and then it's asking about x. Same thing, it's just asking about the value of the variable here. Okay, I don't know that these two angles are necessarily equal to each other, but I do know that together they equal 45. So together they add up to 45. So on this one, we're going to set 8z plus 2 plus 4z plus 7 equal to 45. All right, combine like terms. We're going to get 12z, 2 and 7 make 9 equal 45. Minus 9. Zeroes out. 12z equals 36. Divide by 12. And so z equals 3. Okay, so that equals 3. Now, I want to know how big those angles are, so I need to take that 3 and plug it in. So what is 8 times 3? 24 plus 2 is 26. And if I plug it in here, what's 4 times 3? And 12 plus 7 is 19. All right, what type of angles are these? The vertical, so what do I know about those? They're congruent to each other, so 15x minus 3 equals 11x plus 17. Subtract 11x from both sides. Okay, that zeroes out. We get 4x minus 3 equals 17. Add 3. 4x equals 20. Divide both sides by 4. And x equals 20 divided by 4, which is 5. And I'm going to take that 5 and plug it in here. So 11 times 5 is 55 plus 17. Okay, and so 72 on the other one. If you plug that in there, 15 times 5 is 75 minus 3 is 72. Okay, on this last one, it says that these two angles are supplementary. What does supplementary mean?
Goes up to 180.
They together add up to 180 degrees. So on this one, what I'm going to do is it's going to be 24x plus 6 plus 22x minus 10 equal to 180. All right. Combine like terms, 24x, 22x is 46x. 6 and negative 10 make negative 4. Add 4 to both sides. 46x equals 184. Divide by 46. And yep, x equals 4. So what I'm going to do now is take that 4 and plug it in. So 24 times 4, 96 plus 6, well, 2. I'm going to take that 4 and plug it in right here. What's 22 times 4? 88. And 88 minus 10 is 78.